Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
We're
sorry.
ready.
Okay. Good afternoon. I hope you all are having a good afternoon and stuff like that. My name is Ivan Flores. I'm sorry I had like a mic difficulty right now. So today's presentation topic is on evacuation chairs. Hopefully everyone knows what an evacuation chair is because we're just going to kind of jump into the session. No, I'm just kidding. But the thing is, so for those of you who actually know what they are, that's great, but in case I'm assuming most of you probably don't know what those are, and essentially an evacuation chair is a piece of equipment that is used to get people out of a building in an emergency. Because it's not always possible for someone with crutches or a scooter or wheelchair to get down so quickly, or you should expect them to. Essentially, that's why these chairs were placed inside the stairwells. These devices are located in the yellow boxes, and that's what the initial question was referring to. And we will see an example in a couple slides, and you will learn how and where to find them. So just so you know, slides in the presentation were created using resources from and information obtained from EVAC+Chair International. And it's just a matter of fact, essentially, that these are the chairs that we do have. And hopefully this information is very valuable to you because I know it's helped me to kind of be a little bit more confident in using these chairs. Some of the sites do contain information but by the Office of Risk Management and Safety, which is where I'm from, and that those sites are for options of consideration. But it is expected that EPCC committee will use the best judgment when evacuating or using evacuation devices. And the only reason why I say that's options of consideration because during an emergency we can't really exactly tell you where to do or where to go, what to do, since each emergency is different and you just kind of have to respond differently to everything. So it's important that you just try to use your best judgment in trying to evacuate, and hopefully you can help your fellow either students or coworkers get out and stuff like that. So the objectives for this presentation are we're going to go over a case study real quick, uh, get some general information, options for consideration on chair use. We're going to see the video and chair in use. We're going to learn how to find them or where to find them, and then video on training out in the chair use. And usually when I give this presentation in person, if y'all would one day want me to do that, I can do that. But usually I have people practice on the chair as well, just so that way y'all can get a little bit more comfortable using the chair and stuff like that. So with the case study, so the City of Bristol College, they were reviewing their evacuation procedures with EVAC+Chair International, and this is over in the UK. Mr. Stephen Ruff, who was the Health, Safety, and Wellbeing Manager, he just wanted to kind of see how people felt about evacuating, especially since they had a large population, which was about 20,000 students and about 1,000 staffs, and has a mixture of different buildings within their campus. So I have a couple questions. One of the things I kind of want to know from y'all, why do you think evacuation drills are important to do? Does anyone have a answer for this question? So we are ready. That's a good response. So one of the reasons why we try to do these evacuation drills is because essentially, if you are experiencing an emergency situation, chances are you're not going to know how to react at the time. But the thing is, if you prepare, like when we were little kids and we had to go through these drills for fire drills and learn how to evacuate, essentially the more you practice, the more you learn, and essentially it just kind of stuck in your head what to do. Okay, so after you ever heard the fire alarm, you would go to this one location out of the building, and of course, like try to get out quickly, but not like running and stuff like that. So that's why it's important for you to at least do those drills and getting your knowledge about this evacuate chairs. Essentially, it's very important just because of the fact that you'll learn more how to use them, and hopefully, um, I'm not saying that I don't want you to use them, but the thing is, at least you'll be more comfortable with using them. My next question is, do you have an emergency plan in place? And this could be for your home, or it could be here at school, or anywhere. Yes, both at home and work. Okay, that's good to hear. Yes. Okay. Each area at EPC has an emergency plan. Yes, they should have a plan, but that's not to say that we have everyone covered because essentially, it's more of a, how can I put this? Essentially, each area should have their plan, but the thing is, like, it's not guaranteed that everyone has a plan, and that's why we try to encourage this. And especially, I recommend going to Mr. Hector Paddy's session, at least for the faculty and staff, so that way you could get more knowledge of how to create those plans and stuff like that. Because he always has sessions running, I believe, every month or every once in a while during the semester. And it's important that you have these emergency plans just because of the fact that, like I said, it's better that you try to learn to practice and know what to do as opposed to, like, trying to figure out at the time of the event, and that's not really a good time to plan what to do. So that's why it's always important to have any type of emergency plan. And one of the things I do mention in another training is the fact that when we go out to lunch, are we focusing on what we're going to eat, or do you look at the exits that are around you? And for me, I do know where the exits are wherever I go to lunch because, like, I know I'm hungry, but the thing is, I try to look at that just to make sure that, I know my ways out. And especially after the whole Walmart shooting, I'm sorry to hear that. But yes, after the whole Walmart shooting, essentially, a lot of the people who ran out, it was actually the same way that they went in. So it's better for you to kind of consider those options of getting out and where you should go. And even for me as a safety person, I tend to look at the fire extinguishers and just make sure, like, they're good and stuff like that. But that's like a habit of mine now. Aside from that, who should help those people who may not be able to get out on their own? Does anyone have an answer for that question? Yeah. So that's a good couple of things. So anyone who's there, employees, whoever's around. So that's where I go back to the case study. And essentially, one of the things that Mr. Stephen Rowe kind of found out, and again, like I said, this is over in the UK, he found out that one of the big misconceptions around evacuation is that it is the fire brigades, and again, that's what they call them over there, job to get everyone out, safely out of the building. But the thing is, it isn't. It's responsibility of staff, the landlord, or the manager. In our case, essentially, it could be our faculty and staff, or even your fellow peers, like students and stuff like that. So that's why it's good that, people said whoever's around, the employees, stuff like that, because that's how it should be. Because I'm not saying that the fire department's not gonna try to help you out if they know you're there, but the thing is, if they're not there, especially if it's taking them a while to get to campus, then essentially it's going to be our responsibility to make sure that we're taking care of our people. And essentially, as a PC, our community is really big, and essentially that's why we had to make sure that we're taking care of one another. So with this slide, you could kind of see an example of the yellow box, and it says right there, stairway evacuation chair. And on the right of it, you see that evacuation chair out in the open and stuff like that. This is in the four-wheel mode, just so we all know, and that's not exactly how it usually goes down the stairs. But the thing is, like, you'll kind of get an understanding once we go over the last video in this presentation. So going into with the information, prior to the pandemic, EPC had a few evacuation chairs. I believe we had either 2 or 3, but the only issue was the fact that they were behind police department doors and stuff like that. So it was possibly, or not possibly, it was difficult just to get to them. And that's not to say that the EPCC police department wouldn't try to get you like right away and stuff like that. But the thing is, it really wasn't realistic for us to have those chairs that way. So during the 2019 through 2020 school year, EPCC purchased EVAC chairs for almost every floor above ground level in high-rise buildings. So it's basically 2 floors or more. And these were purchased by the physical plant department. And the reason why they bought these was because essentially it kind of helps us speed up the evacuation. Because we, as far as I know, we have not had a fire emergency, which I know I've heard like a couple of like mini emergency, but the thing is we've never had a real fire emergency or an emergency where we had to evacuate people. That was like really, really huge that, it was immediate. And the thing is, in this case, these chairs can at least help people who are in wheelchairs or, like I said, walking with crutches or something else that they're unable to get down by themselves, get out of the building more quicker. And that's why it's very important for you all to kind of get this information. So general information, like I mentioned, used for those who may be unable to go downstairs on their own with ease. And just so you know, it's not safe to travel upstairs with someone sitting in the evacuator chair. So the best thing for it to do is just go down and, like you'll see right now, how it goes down, and that's it. And it's better for them not to actually go up the stairs and stuff like that. The capacity of the chairs is about 400 pounds. So basically someone who weighs about 400 pounds can get in a chair. The stair length should be at minimum 23 inches, but it could be longer than that. The stair angle 20 degrees to 40 degrees and cannot be used on serves that curve and stuff like that because yeah, it's not going to be able to like sort of go in that direction or to the left or right basically. There are some models that can be used to go upstairs, but the thing is ours can't do that. So that's why, like I said, it's best for you to just try to go downstairs and that's it. Some options of consideration. If you are with someone else, have them check if it is okay to go down to the next floor. If it is safe, you can move to the next stairwell. If it is not safe, you can attempt to move to another stairwell. If you cannot go down any further or leave the stairwell and are stuck, call for help and stay where you're at. And essentially, this is basically the same thing. If it's you by yourself, you can kind of try to go or take the person who's in the evacuator chair down. But the thing is, you have to be very careful to make sure that your next area that you're going to go down the stairs is safe. So that way you're not putting yourself or the person you're helping in jeopardy. Lives are in jeopardy, I should say. So that's why it's important for you to just kind of make those options for consideration. So if it doesn't look safe, then just go somewhere else and maybe leave that stairwell and go to another one. Or again, if you can't go further and essentially you're just kind of stuck, then you could call for help. And you could call our police department, which is 915-831-2200, or you could also reach 911 and their dispatch should connect you with our dispatch, basically. Options for consideration. Don't assume someone needs help getting into a wheelchair. Ask how you can be assistant in a wheelchair, evacuator chair, I'm sorry. Ask how you can be assistance if they need help getting into a chair. Because some people, they're gonna be stubborn and they may not want to use it and they'll just like try to like, go down the stairs like if they're in crutches or something like that. But there's other people who may just need you to hold the chair and that's about it. And that would be like the minimum that you could probably, help them with. So that's why it's better to ask them if they need any help getting in the chair, and from there you should be able to at least try to help them if they do accept that help and stuff like that. But if they don't want the help, then you should let them kind of get in the chair themselves. So basically, after taking the individual to a safe area outside, the evacuator chair can be taken to the refuge area to evacuate other people. And basically, that's taking it back to the stairwell and seeing if maybe someone else can actually or needs to use it. But the thing is, if the person who is sitting in the evacuator chair cannot be safely removed, let's say like they left behind their wheelchair, then it's best for them to go to the safe area that's outside and get them there and make sure that they just stay in the chair until they're able to get, or we're all able to get back into the building and they could get their wheelchair, or essentially until they're kind of released on what to do and stuff like that. So with this slide, this is going to show you just some general information about the video and stuff, the evacuator chair, just so we kind of get that information and stuff like that.
The world we live in has changed. And though we can't control the actions of others or prevent every incident, we can implement certain safety measures that could save lives should an emergency situation arise. The EVAC chair, the world's #1 emergency stairwell evacuation chair. In the event of an emergency, those that are mobility impaired or injured will need assistance. As the elevators will be out of use, the EVAC chair will help with the quick and safe evacuation of people. Under heightened anxiety and exertion, depending on the level of the emergency, it could be almost anyone that requires evacuating. The EVAC chair is an essential safety provision for any building with stairs, no matter how big or small. The EVAC chair comes with a head support and a whole host of accessories. There are a wide range of chairs on offer. A chair for every kind of building and evacuation. Like schools or hospitals with progressive horizontal evacuations, and airports with phased or staged evacuations. The EVAC chair range tackles a wide variety of stairwells. The EVAC chair 600 and IBEX can even do an ascending evacuation. People all over the world have used the EVAC chair. People like John Abruzzo, who was safely evacuated from the 69th floor of the World Trade Center on 9/11.
The first plane hit the tower that day. John, like others, rushed to the stairwell. However, evacuation for John Abruzzo would prove much more difficult. How do you get a man who lives in a wheelchair down 69th floors? EVAC chairs, stairway evacuation chair. They are put on every floor. The implementation of the products proved successful on 9/11. John Abruzzo did make it out of the building on 9/11 because of the EVAC chair.
Almost every building has a fire extinguisher. We consider the EVAC chair just as important. From something as simple as a broken elevator to an emergency situation, the EVAC chair is the perfect solution for a stairway descent. In the world we live in now, anything is possible. The EVAC chair ensures a safe evacuation for those that need it should any kind of emergency arise, and could very well save lives.
So hopefully you all enjoyed the video, and that's one of the reasons why I like the video, just because of the fact that it shows like the different types of chairs that there are. And it's not to say that essentially when you're anywhere that you're gonna see one type of chair, and that's why I gave that example that you could see right now on your screen. That is the one that we do have. But the thing is, like, you could be anywhere and they could have different types of chairs. So you could see the ones that go upstairs, some that, you kind of drag the person on the ground and stuff like that. But the thing is, it's really good just to kind of get familiar with like these different types of chairs. That way you know that they're not just gonna look one particular way. So the next part of this is on a computer. You could go to the campus maps page, and essentially this is where you'll be able to find the EVAC chairs. So like it says, can be found on the www.epcc.edu website in 3 different ways. So you click on the hamburger, which is this little thing right here, and that's what at least I'm told it's called. And from there, once you click on it, it's going to bring up this whole menu. And then from there, the option will be right here where it says maps, and you would just click on there. The other way you could do it is if you put search and then from there look for campus maps. You could find the campus maps that way, or you could also not click on the hamburger and just scroll all the way down our website, and you'll find it on the very, very bottom of the webpage, and it's campus maps. As soon as you click on that, you'll be brought to this page where it says EPCC campus maps page. On the page, you can see the location of all the campuses, and from there, you just click on the campus that you want to look at where the evacuation chairs are. And I do recommend that you do look at this beforehand, as again, not during an emergency, but beforehand to kind of get yourself familiar with this, and you kind of know where to look and stuff like that. And as soon as you click on one of the the locations or campuses, from there you'll be able to kind of take a look at the evacuation chairs. The other item I would like to note or icon is the AEDs, just because essentially my department is in charge of those, and that's where I want you all to kind of be at least familiar with that as well. So the first example is here. We're going to click on Valle Verde. So Valle Verde, and then from there you're going to see all the different buildings on Valle Verde. And one I did choose was the ASC building, which is an Art, Science, and Technology building. And as soon as you click on it, you could see the different types of icon. So this little icon right here is going to be for EVAC chairs. And you could see there's 3 here. So one on the far west end, one kind of towards in the center of the building, and one on the far east end. And of course, the other one I do want to know is the AED, just that way you know what it looks like and how it's there and stuff like that. So that was one building. So again, we're going to look at another building, but just so we could kind of get an idea of where it might not be the same. So administrative services, we'll click on there. And from there, we'll click on the A building. And as soon as you click on the A building, you see that there's no evacuation chairs here. And like I said, that's not to say that we don't want our people to evacuate safe, but the thing is that it's not really necessary here because essentially we have different means of getting people out. And of course, this is a 1-story building. And essentially with that, that's why there's no evacuation chairs here. But again, you can see the AED there, and it's going to be towards the front of the building, which is on the east side of the building. So the next one is the Rio Grande campus. So as soon as we click on the Rio Grande campus, we're going to go over to the A building. And for the A building, you can see that there's 2 evacuation chairs. So 1 and 2. And I keep switching between evacuation chairs and EVAC chairs because of the product name. So that's why you kind of hear me using both terms just like that. And from there, like I said, since this is a multi-story building, they do have them here on the first floor because essentially there's like a way to kind of get out through the bottom as well. And of course, we have our AED symbol here. And like I was saying before, essentially, it's important to kind of know this different type of stuff, just that way you can kind of be familiar with what these symbols look like and also potentially where they could be as well. And if you go to any of the other buildings that are multi-floor, then you should be able to find them about the same location. So not on the first floor, usually, but the thing is sometimes on the second and third floors that they're gonna most likely have them there. Now, the only exception to this, and I'll just bring this up right now, just because we already talked about the Rio Grande campus, at the H building, just because the first floor, which is considered the second floor if you're looking at the building, essentially they don't have evacuation chair there, but that's just because of the fact that it's even with the ground floor on the north side of the building. And also there's a parking garage that's on the south side, so that's why they don't really have a chair there. But in other buildings, like I said, for the most part, most buildings do have these evacuation chairs. So that's why it's important for you all to know their locations and stuff like that. So when we look at the next video, there's going to be a couple of topics that you're going to see right here, just so that we are familiar with them. So opening the chair, it's just more of the fact that essentially there's a particular way to open the chair, and I hope you pay attention because with those instructions, it's not that it's difficult to do, it's just more of the fact that essentially there are a couple clips that you're going to have to pay attention to when you're originally opening the chair and stuff like that. With the passenger transfer, it's going to get into how someone is able to sit into the chair, or essentially it kind of gets into like if they need certain devices to kind of help them with the chair. And I just want to say like those devices we don't really have with those chairs, but hopefully it's one of those things that we can do or we can get in the future, like a seat cover kind of. And then from there, the stairway descent, which is going to kind of tell you where to position your hands and when, well, position your hands when you are going down the stairs, and also kind of taking the person around the landing to the next set of stairs. And then finally the horizontal evacuation, which kind of goes into the whole how you can kind of open the chair where it's in the 4-wheel mode as opposed to being in the 2-wheel mode, and essentially getting people around like on a regular floor and stuff like that, just so that way you all kind of know that as well. I'll go to that slide.
There are 6 simple steps to prepare the EVAC chair for use. 1. While standing behind the EVAC chair, hold it upright and rest one foot on top of the blue base frame crossbar to steady the chair. 2. Using both hands, pull the handle upwards until the shoulder clips have clicked into place. 3. The head restraint should now be slid down the handle. 4. While still standing behind the chair, undo the seat belt to release the skis. 5. Pull these skis towards you to open the seat and push the seat partway downwards into position. 6. Finally, pull up the seat frame against the ski to ensure it is in position. Your EVAC chair is now ready for action. You must remain in position behind the EVAC chair using both uprights of the handle to hold it firmly. Place one foot on the front wheel axle or on the bottom bar as your occupant transfers into the EVAC chair's seated position. Depending on the condition of the occupant, further assistance may be required with the transfer. The EVAC chair comfy seat is an accessory to accommodate people with special difficulties, such as back problems or leg fractures. The seat belt must now be fastened and the head restraint used to assist with airway management if required. From the transfer position, remove your foot from the front wheel axle and tilt the EVAC chair backwards until the front wheel comes into contact with the ground. The EVAC chair will now balance between the bottom bar of the frame and the front wheels. From the balance position, tip the chair a further 7 centimeters backwards. That's about 3 inches, and you will be able to move forward in the 2-wheel position. This is the position to use for traveling short distances, such as when turning and crossing stair landings during descent. For use on level ground over longer distances, the EVAC chair should be used in the 4-wheel position, like a wheelchair. To achieve the 4-wheel position, start from the vertical upright position. Place one foot on the trolley assembly, just over the yellow sticker, and pull back sharply to unclip the trolley assembly. As you remove your foot, the trolley assembly will automatically open. You may then lower the EVAC chair gently onto its wheels. For stairway descent, close the trolley assembly in an appropriate area of safety by placing the EVAC chair in a vertical upright position with the bottom bar of the frame on the ground. Place your foot on the yellow sticker and push the trolley assembly forward until it clicks back into place. Tilt the chair back into the 2-wheel position and move forward to approximately 30 centimeters from the top of the stairs, positioned at the inside edge. With one foot in front of the other and slightly apart, tilt the chair a little further back and push confidently over the top of the stairs. At all times, stay near the inside edge of the stairs and make certain the skis make contact with the top 2 stair nosings. Never let go of the EVAC chair. Pause briefly and reposition your hands by sliding them upwards from the vertical position at each side of the handle onto the handle's horizontal top crossbar. When descending, press downwards in a vertical direction for a smooth, safe ride and move forwards at the same smooth pace as the EVAC chair. There should be no bumping action. The smooth operation of EVAC chair is due to the interface of specially modified V-belts, which continuously work to slow down descent over stair nosings in proportion to the weight of the passenger. No heavy lifting is necessary, so no one is left behind when a building is evacuated. When reaching or crossing a landing, never let go of the EVAC chair, and do not allow the chair to run out. You cross the landing in the two-wheel mode, so when the wheels touch the landing floor, and with the skis still on stairs, slide your hands round to each side of the handle back into the vertical positions to prepare for this maneuver. Keep the EVAC chair near to the inside edge of the stairs at all times throughout the descent, and cross the landing in the two-wheel mode before descending the remaining stairs in the same way as before. On reaching the ground level, proceed a few paces from the stairs in the two-wheel mode before deploying the trolley assembly. You're then ready to move along level ground in the four-wheel mode to the designated assembly point.
So hopefully y'all got a really good information from that actual video and stuff like that. When you do use this evacuator chair, I'm not saying it's completely easy to use, but the thing is, it's not very hard to use either, or hard to use either, I should say. So essentially, when the person sits down, you are gonna feel some of their weight when they do, like I said, sit down and stuff like that. But the thing is, like, as long as you make sure that you are able to kind of grab it right and are able to kind of lift the, not all the weight, but a good amount of weight, essentially, you should be able to use these devices and stuff like that. And one of the things I did want to say was about the seat. Essentially, that's again, we don't have that, but the thing is, we do have this chair, as you can see on the photo right there, and it does have the head brace. It does have the seat buckle and stuff like that. So essentially, it should be you should be able to use it, like I said, fairly well and stuff like that. So that's why it's like I said, it's just important for y'all to kind of get knowledge about that and know how to use it and stuff like that. And I think that's the end of my slides.
Thank you, Mr. Flores. Now at this time, does anyone have any questions for Mr. Flores? If not, I'm going to go ahead and I will share the TVE sessions for next week. So next week, we will have our final TVE, which will be on the 24th. It'll be Prep for Finals, Calculus 1 Final Exam Review. We're having Professor Eduardo Tentos come and give us a Calculus 1 review for those that are taking that course this semester, or maybe even further semesters, because all of our sessions are recorded. Thank you, Mr. Flores, for presenting for us today. I think it's extremely important that we all know what the purpose of those evacuation chairs are. And so we'd like to thank you for your time. Thank you to the audience for joining us. And we hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Thank you, everybody.